Hey everybody, Heidi here from DreamWalkerz. How's it going? I'm here in my very chilly Wisconsin studio today, and I got my little buddy with me, our little DreamWalkerz mascot. Isn't he cute? Say hi to Sage. Okay. So today, welcome to our channel, and this is the DreamWalkerz channel, and I am Heidi. I am a circadian rhythm expert, and I have been taught and living this lifestyle for probably, a little bit of most of my life, but mostly since I met my husband, who is a biohacker. His name is Thaddeus Owen, and he's recently been featured on Alex Clark podcast. It's called the 9 to 5, the lie of 9 to 5, circadian rhythm expert Thaddeus Owen. That's not the title. What is the title? Circadian rhythm. I don't know. Something about circadian rhythm. If you Google Thaddeus Owen, Alex Clark, you will find his video, and it is fantastic. He talks to people about why not to wear sunglasses. Ooh, so controversial, right? And there's a lot of really good content just from listening to that interview. But the other thing, Thaddeus has taught me how to actually live the circadian lifestyle. So I've been living in the same residence as him. We got married in 2020, and we've been living together for, I think, 7 years now. And it's been interesting. And I'm here to kind of like walk you guys through, like, what does it actually mean? How does it work? And what are the benefits, right? Everybody wants to know what the benefits are. And recently, we have just received this incredible letter, this like testimony from one of our, I guess, subscribers. And she is going through perimenopause. And so am I. And so I'm like, oh my God, I should probably jump on and make some videos talking about perimenopause and living the circadian lifestyle and how it can help without Western medicine, like the cutting and the pills that, you know, all the, I guess, Western medicine, you know, I don't know how to say it because I don't want my channel to get suppressed, and we know that that's a real thing because we have been shadow banned. And you know, when you're talking about truth and things that are actually helping people, they shadow ban you. So either ban you, cancel you, or shadow ban you. And a lot of our channels, our earlier channels, Primal Hacker, has been shadow banned in the past, especially on Facebook, which is crazy. Back in 2020, we had a video that was like absolutely banned. Like, it was crazy. They removed all the sound content because we were talking about the controversial vaccine subject, and it was pretty crazy. But I'm not going to go into that too much today. Today, I want to talk about this letter from Amanda, and Amanda was so gracious and so awesome that she wrote out everything in an email to us and sent it over. And I was like, oh my God, this is so profound. You know, when you like do something in life and you're like, oh my God, like people are benefiting from this and it's changing people's lives. And you're just like, oh my God, like that's so incredible. Like I know I'm on my path, right? And these are the things that we do as a family. And these are the things that we teach our children to do. And it's just such a beautiful testimony to connecting back to nature. And yes, we do have a product company, but first and foremost, we always talk about getting morning sunlight and doing the free stuff first. Then going into, you know, the layers of protection. So you can see I'm wearing, this is actually a pair of our glasses. These are called Cloudwalkers. And I'm wearing them today because honestly, you guys, this is crazy. I have these little like lights here. You can probably see them in my reflection, but they flicker so much. I was gonna use my phone to make another video, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna mess around with it today. And I could see the flicker. I could see it like from these little like LED lights in my phone camera, and that's how you can test. If you want to check something's flicker, put your phone camera on it. That's an easy kind of like first level test. But back to the video. Okay, so this is a letter. It's from Amanda. So if any of you out there are heading into perimenopause, menopause, and you're like freaking out and not know what to do, there are definitely free and natural things that you can do. So I'm just going to go through the letter and let's find out what Amanda has to say. So she says, Dear Thaddeus and Heidi, back in September, I listened to Alex Clark's interview with Thaddeus. I just happened to come across it in my search to see if she had done any interviews on the topic of perimenopause and specifically sleep issues during perimenopause. At that time, there were no interviews coming up addressing perimenopause, so I decided it was worth a shot to listen to yours. I am so thankful I did. It has changed my life. Keep reading, girl. Perimenopause kicked in for me a few years ago with mild hot flashes. Maybe some of you guys can relate to that. And she says hair loss. Yikes. Like nobody wants that, right? Like that's crazy. Over time, joint pain, insomnia set in. I tried homeopathic remedies, which we love, adaptogens, and as a last resort, bioidentical progesterone. I was only half settled with this decision, but reluctantly continued to take it as it slightly reduced my hot flashes. And let's be real, like that is the number one, I think, alarm, right, of the body is the hot flashes. And no, they're not normal. Just because so many people have them does not mean that they're normal, you guys. Okay, so she says, this past summer, my hot flashes, joint pain, and insomnia were unbearable. My doctor recommended taking Ambien for 2 weeks. What? Yikes, no. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm a little dramatic sometimes. I just got done with my yoga class, so I'm all vibey, right? Okay, Ambien for 2 weeks to reset my sleep cycle and then wean off. She also suggested increasing, and you guys, just side note, like so many of those sleeping pills, they are so dangerous, and maybe for short term, like she's saying, like for 2 weeks, if you're just like, you're so at your wit's end, but the side effects and all the stuff that comes with them, like if you look into it, it's crazy town. Like it's like schizophrenia, psychosis, insomnia, like it's crazy the side effects that come with those pills, which are just covering up a symptom, right? So why aren't you sleeping? Right, is the reason, and not covering up, oh, you're not sleeping. So, okay, so she gets back to say, reset my sleep cycle and then wean off, which is great. Thank you for saying that, right? She also suggested increasing the progesterone and starting the estrogen patch. I knew there was no way I was going to do any of this. She shared a podcast with me that discussed the latest research on hormone replacement therapy and how it's now being viewed as safe for many women. I listened to the interview, but I wasn't sold. I kept doing research for a natural way to ease my symptoms. Okay, so there's a couple schools of thought here, and I am not giving medical advice in any way, shape, or form. I am here to just talk about natural ways, right? And my opinion about some of these natural/unnatural ways. So there's HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and then there's BHRT, which is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And I think people get those mixed up. And one is from the wild yam of Mexico, which is a bioidentical, and a derivative from the wild yam. And the other one is a synthetic, okay? So I think there's like this huge discrepancy. So I would say do your research. There's a book that I read is really well researched. Wow, really well researched. It's called How to Stay Young and Sexy. And it talked about all like the conspiracy behind the BHRT and HRT. And it tells everything about like what the differences are, like in crazy depth. Like I was kind of bored. I'm one for like, tell me stories and, blah, blah. But it's very like, and then research and history. It's a good resource. Let's just say that. Okay. So she goes on to say, when I found your interview on apothecary culture, it's actually culture apothecary, I was super excited, and I knew that resetting my circadian rhythm and grounding was the answer. I grounded the next morning at sunrise. I turned out the lights at sunset, pulled out our salt nightlight, lit candles, and turned off my phone. Hey, those are called good ideas. My husband began making these changes as well. We soon purchased red and amber lights and our blue light blockers. Within the first week, my hot flashes went from raging heat to very mild. Whoa! Win for the good guys. I told you I went to yoga, right? Okay. Raging heat to, they completely stopped within the next 2 to 3 weeks. By week 7, I realized that I was barely losing any hair. My joint pain is basically gone now. I have no brain fog. Whoa! You guys, this is huge, right? Like this is amazing because I think those are like the top 2 complaints of perimenopause and menopause. Hot flashes and joint pain, or joint pain and top 3, I would say, and brain fog. So she says, I literally wake up happy. My mood and emotions are totally balanced out, and I have energy throughout the day. I'm getting the best sleep ever. I truly feel amazing. In November, I listened to your interview on Wise Traditions. Yay! We love Hilda and Wise Traditions and all things nourishing traditions with Sally Fallon. Actually, Thaddeus spoke there last year in Utah for the first time and had a sold-out room and one of the most popular talks of the entire conference. And we're speaking again, well, he's speaking again in Washington, D.C. this year, where they're holding the conference. So if you're in the D.C. area, look for that conference in, I want to say October, but you can look it up. Okay. Where are we? In November, I listened to your interview in the Wise Traditions about winter and getting cold. I also just finished reading your book. So Thaddeus has a book called The Ketogenic Hibernation Diet. And I am now comfortable outside in 20-degree weather. I used to hide in the winter. I hated the cold. I actually wake up looking forward to going out in the cold and enjoying this challenge of staying out a little bit longer than the day before. This is so great. Well, I mean, if you have hot flashes, go outside. No, seems logical. And it's all about your nervous system, you guys. Like that can work for other people. Some people, if your nervous system is really, really, really like jacked and you have like some trauma that you haven't dealt with, or I had a friend who, actually, here's a little side note. I had a friend who her husband had been in a tragic, like almost near fatal car accident, and she did cold therapy that week, and it was really bad. Like you cannot do that and I think she was menopausal or postmenopausal. You cannot do that to your nervous system. Okay. So just be really gentle with your body and knowing like where you're at, like physically. Cause if you just go through something really traumatic, we highly recommend not to do that. Men, different story, right? But us women, like, no, that doesn't work. We need to be more nurtured and taken care of than that. I'm a huge believer in that. And if you want to read more about a book, so I'm a wealth of resources today. There's a book that I'm reading called The Relaxed Woman. And is it Relaxed Woman? Rested Woman. No, Relaxed Woman. I actually put it out in an email recently, but super, super good, very enlightening. The way she talks, she's from the UK, so she's got this beautiful British accent. And it's actually soothing to your nervous system to listen to The Relaxed Woman, which is kind of cool. Okay, I digress. So she said, I actually up looking forward. Okay, the past 10 weeks have been for me quite a journey. It would be so interesting to know if there are other women navigating perimenopause that have used light to ease their symptoms and not just survive and thrive during this transitional phase of life. I have realized that light plays a crucial and powerful role in our health and its foundation to our well-being. However, mainstream and even holistic medical professionals are not telling us this. This is so true, you guys. This is like the new frontier. This is why biohacking, you guys, is like 17 years ahead of mainstream medicine, okay? So most people are somewhat knowledgeable of the fact that we all have an internal clock, but are unaware of how essential getting our light right is. If only our primary care, and OBGYN doctors were telling us this and prescribing it as a first step toward health. I agree. I think this is like number one. We had a horse one time. My parents had horses growing up, and we had a horse get pregnant because we gave her the right light. You guys, it's huge. It is a big deal. And my husband would argue that it's a bigger deal than movement and nutrition. But in my view, they all work together, right? It's a synergistic, holistic picture. And were telling us this and prescribing it as the first step toward health. I am beyond thankful for your teaching on light, grounding, and cold adapting, especially light. With many thanks, Mandy. Oh my God, like that is so incredible. So I wanted to come on and I wanted to share that with you guys because this is a huge, huge deal, especially you guys, like I mean, I hate to say this, but like the more toxic you are, the more toxins you have in your body. And let's face it, we all have all these crazy toxins all around us all the time, right? And the more you're going to get those symptoms too. So it's like, keep your body clean. Well, how do I keep my body clean? And when I used to substitute teach, I would talk about this to teenagers as like in a car reference. Like you service your car, you change the oil, right? You put, and I would say to the boys, like, well, if you had a Ferrari, what kind of gas would you put in your Ferrari? And they'd be like, well, the best, the highest octane, and they know all those like words or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, so if your body is like a Ferrari, like what kind of food would you put in it? And it was so crazy, like no pun intended, but you could just see light bulbs going off all over the room. And it was so fun to see like all of them going, oh yeah, I like treat my body like a Ferrari. That's a novel idea, right? But going back to the perimenopause piece, like I am not an OBGYN expert in any of this stuff. I'm an expert in light. Like, so I know my light environment from the moment I get up and the moment I go to bed and what I do and what I look at, right? And it doesn't matter if it's a screen or, I mean, it does matter. It matters if it's a screen, the sun, LED lights, Edison lights. And I'm going to be talking about all the differences in all these different things because I think there's so much noise out there. We don't really know like what are the differences. So one of the things I would like to talk more about are the differences between, the Edison bulbs and what does that mean and how do I use them and like all the things, right? So look for more videos on that. But I am just curious too in this video, how many other people are suffering from hot flashes and brain fog and joint pain. I know I've felt some of those things in my body. I've never had a hot flash, but I've had some joint pain and, I've had my own experience and I'm 51 years old. And it's pretty awesome that, I put out a Facebook post a couple weeks ago and I said, I'm 51. I've never had a hot flash. And I get the right light, right? And I know how to protect myself in this modern world. And I also don't watch TV. And I think that's something that's like people really don't understand the importance of that, removing one of those things from your life can really, really, really be impactful. I'm a huge proponent of replacing a TV with a fireplace. And a lot of people are going to be like, that's crazy and, blah, blah, because we're so indoctrinated. We're such a culture of you have to watch TV to know what's going on. You have to blah, blah. And I'm not going to just sit and like riff off that right now, but it does play a huge role in your psyche, especially before bed. And that's not the last thing you want to do before bed. So for perimenopause, I'm curious, like, what are you guys thinking, seeing? Are you hearing more about perimenopause, hair loss, hot flashes, and all the fun things that they're not normal, by the way. They're just because they're common does not mean they're normal. So curious what you guys are experiencing when it comes to perimenopause, like Amanda. And if you are interested in checking out our website, we do have some resources. Thaddeus's book is on the website. It's like $15. So like just pick it up, and it's really a book on light. And the cover, the title is a little it's whatever, it's the diet thing, and I'm not a huge subscriber to that. I don't think we die, right? We don't die it, we nourish it and we live it with joy and without guilt and shame. So I'm a little bit more bohemian than that, so I'm just like, ooh, let's enjoy. But I'm curious, like if that is helpful, if anybody has had some of these experiences that Amanda has had. And it would be fun to see in the comments if there's anybody who has had some experience or if you're willing to try, right? She said she gets up with the sun. How many of you are out there getting up with the sun? Like, it's such a simple, free move that is going to impact your life greater than anything, any pill, anything that you can do. Honest to God. Clean up your diet, get sleep, get enough sleep. But the way to get the sleep, you guys, is to program your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is this internal master clock. It sits behind your eyes. And you program that with the morning sunlight. So like Thaddeus and I have a commitment to each other, and it is that we will never miss another sunrise for the rest of our lives. That's a huge commitment. We've done it since it was part of our marriage pact. We go to bed at the same time and we get up with the sun. And no matter what time of year it is. And that matters throughout, like different areas, latitudes of where you live. And we live in the, pretty far north, and things here fluctuate really far. So like in the summer, that means we're getting up at 5:30, like with the sun. That is a commitment we made. And we're serious about it, right? And we know the science. He knows the science. He taught me, and that's what we live. And guess what? Like, I have high vibe energy, like 95% percent of the time. I'm synced in. And in the winter, it fluctuates all the way to the other side of the spectrum. Like, it gets dark here at like 4:30. We go to bed. I went to bed, not kidding. Like, my kids are grown out of the house, but I went to bed at like 6:30, 7 o'clock the other day. And the antidote to UV light in the winter, you guys, is melatonin. And melatonin is made by seeing the right light, not jacking your cortisol before you go to bed. Before you go to sleep, no screens, right? Or if you are going to be on a screen, get a pair of blue blocking glasses. I don't care if you buy them from us or not. Like, it doesn't matter. If you want to try a pair, go grab a $20 pair from Amazon and see what you think. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I'd get a cute pair from DreamWalkerz, but see, like how cute they are. These are our rose quartz glasses. Oh my God, there's so many fingerprints all over them. That's crazy. I can't even see out of them because there's so many fingerprints. Oh my God, I need to clean these glasses. But aren't they cute? These are our rose quartz. They have a CR39 lens on them. And let's see, I don't have any others sitting up here, but these are our computer daytime glasses. So protecting your eyes from the computer. These protect you from, like, I think they're like 50 to 60% of the harmful blue LED light. And we're going to be talking more about LED lights and what that means and where does it come from and all the things. But for now, I would say, like, really let that story of Amanda sink in and send it to a girlfriend, send it to somebody that you love who's going through this and is like, hey, have you tried this? Because this is a way to peel out of the system. Honestly, like, they don't want you to get sunlight. They want to cover the sun from you. And the sun has special powers and properties. And our bodies are like infinitely intelligent. And it works synergistically with the sun. And being mindful of that and knowing how to work it with the sun, you don't want to get sunburnt. You don't want to be, like abusing the sunlight in ways that are harmful to your body. But knowing how to use the sun so that you have, a healthy vehicle that you don't have to worry about, like, getting sick and being healthy. Like, you can live your life. And really, you guys, honestly, that's what we're here to talk about. So Thaddeus is going to be at Meat Stock in Nashville. If anybody is from Nashville, he's going to be in Gatlinburg, outside of Nashville, and Knoxville. And that will be the end of May. So we're going to be down there for a conference. Stop by or sign up if you want to come see. There's a great, so many people talking. There's such a great lineup. And then after that, we're going to be somewhere in Texas, I think, after about a couple weeks after that. I'm not sure what that conference is, but we will definitely be talking about what they are coming up. And then again in dear friend of ours. She actually married us. She's kind of fun. She's the podcast host for Wise Traditions. And if you don't know what I'm even talking about, Google it, get the book, get Sally Fallon's book. She talks about fermentation, bone broth, like all the things to nourish the body and keep it healthy. And yeah, I think I feel like pretty complete about, you know, really inspiring people to get up with the sun and pay attention to the light that you have before you go to bed, and try not to watch TV, you know, like, and if you have it on during the day, whatever. I know, like, when I was single, it was different, right? Because it was like, oh, I'd have the TV on and it would be keeping me company. But now I've learned more than that, and I don't want that programming my mind. So we don't even have a TV. And if I need to find out what's going on in the world, it finds me. And that's how I like it. Let's see. Are there any other? I think that's it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, and I will go through the comments too and read them. And yeah, let's get this, you know, this thing that is free and available to everybody, and it can be so helpful. Let's get that out there and start spreading the word. So we want a healthy community and healthy families. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening today. If you made it all the way through, kudos to you. Way to go with your bandwidth and your ability to focus, which is more than what most people do. So, all right, you guys, go have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.